I am going to work on an Akaicon commission of this really adorable Gryphon character. And the person who commissioned me wanted a marker commission with cut paper. So we are going to begin with colored leads and some deleter paper. We're going to get started with that today. And it's not always that I get to draw really adorable characters. Well, actually it is every day that I get to draw really adorable characters, but it's not every day that I get to draw super adorable anthro characters. So I am really excited about this. Now, deleter paper is a smooth surface paper. It is great for markers. In fact, my friend Kabocha, who is as big a marker nerd as I am, swears by it. So I am going to start with 2 different colored leads for our underdrawing. We're going to use pink and we're going to do shading and tighter details with purple. And I'll zoom out a little bit so that I can angle the paper in a way that is suitable for me. Right, Peaches looks like they like peaches, of course. So I am... Oh, it looks like this character also has like a really cute little beak. I want to draw them eating a peach. I need to make sure to leave room for their axolotl gills. And it looks like they have a pigeon beak, so I'm going to go back and reference that in a minute. And really cute round cheeks. I mean, this is a really, really cute character. So I'll pull in so you guys can see what I've done, and I'm going to go ahead and look up pigeons for reference. That way I've already got it up when I need it. Now, since it's a Gryphon, I'm curious whether I should give it pigeon eyes or cat eyes, but I think pigeon eyes might be cuter. Give it kind of like an intense, cute look. Like, oh, you got something for me? Oh no, this is gonna be a very cute baby. It did not hurt that the source material is incredibly cute. Well, yes. And of course, when dealing with cat-like animals, and Gryphons are part cat, I love to do that popped paw thing. Like, oh, gimme that tasty treat. What do you want? I always say I don't like cats, but I actually like cats a lot. And I think the commissioner also said this is red panda. So it's like pigeon, axolotl, red panda. So this is gonna be fun. Oh, and I should do that big floof tail. Big red panda floof tail. Ugh, already it's so cute. Look at that face, y'all. That's gonna be so cute. That's gonna be a really cute commission when it's finished. Cute, cute, cute. Now I'm gonna look up axolotl gills. Axolotls are so cute too. Just get to draw all the cute things. Even pigeons are cute. I was gonna say even pigeons are cute, even though some people think they're kind of gross. And what I'm gonna do for this commission is it is a marker and cut paper commission. So I'm gonna do a lineless style where we draw the majority of it with a colored lead, so that the lines aren't... Oh, I'm out of pink. So that the lines are not the focus. And then we're gonna render it, and then I may add some lines here and there just to help tighten it up and kind of draw focus. Now I know I have some more pink lead in here. Actually, I'll just use my other pink pencil. Yes, lead in there. That is a cute baby. And what's neat about doing it in this sort of style is that it tends to look a little more realistic. Even if you're drawing something incredibly cartoony, it just kind of looks a little more realistic. It looks a little softer. And for the cut paper, I think I'm going to do the background in cut paper. And I wish I had, since the character's name is Peaches, I wish I had a peach pattern washi paper. I've got some really cute stuff though, so I will hunt about off camera and see what I have that will work. Just darkening up a little bit here and there. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Next, I need to pick colors and, oh, the wings. It's kind of an important thing. Let's see if I can find a good picture of a pigeon with its wings kind of spread. Some really beautiful pigeons. Okay, so the wing. And then this is why I think it is downright ridiculous that there's some YouTube artists who denounce using reference, because it's like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm drawing a Gryphon anthro here. Like, I'm clearly not copying an animal. And then a lot of your fine art artists, like who do like fine art portraits, that sort of stuff, they're working directly from reference. Some of them are literally copying the illustrate or the photo. So it's just like, where did y'all come from telling people not to use reference? Are you kidding? Are you trying to stunt other people's growth? Okay, so I am going to swatch my colors on another sheet of this paper. And it's a little bit of a waste, but since I've never really done markers on it before, this will give me a good idea of what I'm dealing with. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pick my colors off camera, and then we can go over swatching together. Okay, so for reference, this is the character we're going to be working on. These are the colors that I might potentially use, and I'll kind of walk you guys step by step through my thought process and what colors are for what. So we're going to start with the little axolotl gills up there, and I still will need to grab some yellows, so I guess I'll do that as well while I'm here. But we're going to start with the axolotl gills. So I have a lot of very light pinks. We've got a Neo Pico light pink, which might be very excellent for it. We've got a Blick Studio light pink, which is a little pinkier than the Neo Pico. That is a good color, but not for the gills. That might work. Nope. And I'm going to try to put them away as I dismiss them. And I ought to grab a bunch of my Prismas, because Prisma is great for this sort of thing. That might be even better than the Neo Pico. Then, ooh, that's going to be so fluorescent-y hot, that might not work, but it might. And what's weird is, so this is Ranger Flamingo, and this is how it's swatched on my sticker paper. My camera's actually not picking it up, but it's actually much darker on this paper. So I'm glad I'm swatching on the paper I wanted to use. Okay, then we have the overall. I need to get a different color. Okay, so for the head of the Gryphon, I need warm grays. That might be a good start. And I try to keep, as I go through, I try to keep everything in order that I'm probably going to do it, and that helps me remember. Oh no, that's right. Sort of what my thought process was. And I'll also put markers in the order that I'm going to use them. Kind of working our way down the Gryphon's head. So we've done the gills, we've done the base of the head, we've done the neck. We're working on the blue stripe on the neck. Oh, that's going to be a little, need to get lighter than that. And usually I will also label what colors, and that also helps me make good decisions about what I'm doing. Now I have all these peachy colors that I don't actually think I need. So I'm gonna put those aside just in case I was wrong about that. And then we've got the wings. I think these will work. For the wings, yes. Yes, yes. Then doing the body and the black accents on the wings. So I've pulled a bunch of very dark, because when I'm doing black, I don't want to do like just a black, just, you know, what is it, 100 and special black. I want different, I like having a black that has like color to it. So we have 3 very different blacks here. I want to do these 2, I believe. Okay, next I have some shading colors for the neck and feathers. Honestly, any of these should be okay, but I think this one, BB20, is going to be the best bet for that. Okay, then I have 2 different reds. I have the lighter orangey stripes, and then we have the darker stripes. So do those in 2 sections. But I've gotten pretty good too. I mean, I still swatch, but I've gotten pretty good at eyeballing it. And a lot of that just comes from familiarity with my markers and my collection. And then for the darker red, I really want it to go red-brown. Yes. Red-brown with probably an orange base. And I also find deciding all these things ahead of time helps me out a lot. Makes it easier for me. So last, the beak. That's probably too light. Ooh, that is a very sunny yellow. Okay, so I think I'm ready to go. These are my swatches. I'm going to keep them on hand. I've also got everything in order. And I'm going to do a yellow eye for the Gryphon. Oh, now I see what I wanted some of that pink for. Let me grab my swatch sheet, because the little boop boop kind of ball things around the nose have a pinkish cast. Probably not. Okay, so I'm gonna get started with coloring. And I'm going to begin with, I think, the base of the head. So, that's these and these. There we go. It's a lot better. And secret, this is the first time I've used deleter paper for markers. So I'm going to be kind of learning as I go. But Kabocha speaks very highly of it as a marker paper. And I've seen what she's able to do with it, so I'm confident that we're gonna make this work. And blend it out a little bit. And put these back, and I'm gonna go ahead and start with that light blue. Maybe I should have picked a blue instead of a pink for this, but I think the pink will look fine anyway. Kabocha did mention that it buckles a little bit as you work it. Oh, it's so blendy. We do work very differently, she and I. Hopefully not too differently that it's going to ruin this, but I may have to put a blotter sheet underneath, and I may have to change how I approach, because see, it's all very blended, and I usually like to work fast, because on absorbent papers, you'll lose a lot of your blendability as time goes by if you don't work quickly. Whereas with this, it's like immediate blending. It's actually a little bit annoying. Mostly because it forces me to change how I work. That's fine. Getting pushed out of your comfort zone is a good thing. And I'm trying to use, let me see if I can get a better camera angle for y'all. I'm trying to use really delicate, fluffy, feathery sort of brush strokes. I'm gonna go back. When you see me rest my hand like that, I'm actually testing to see if the paper surface is still wet. And we're going to work light to dark. Be careful around those purple eyelids, because these leads will smear a little bit with alcohol inks. So it just means being a little more careful than you would if you had inked it, but it also saves you erasing, and it also saves me ink dry times, because I do normally allow my pieces to dry for 24 hours before I start markering over them. And I do like the colored lead effect. Alright, going to start darkening in the area above and around the eyes, and below as well. Bane of my life is that the Galaxy S8 screen auto dims, even though I've tweaked those settings. So when I'm trying to work from reference, I have to constantly touch the screen to keep it up. It's always really fun when I get marker commissions. I don't actually get too many, which is one of the reasons why you guys don't see a lot of marker videos on the channel. Because I don't fill them at the show. I like to fill them after, when I have my full collection of markers and I don't necessarily have people stopping by the table every 2 minutes. I like to be able to pay attention and do a good job on my marker commissions. It would just take me so long if I were doing them at the show. So I would either have to go segregate myself, go sit in a hallway somewhere and ignore people, or just never get it done. Now, one of the reasons I picked this paper, other than a friend's glowing endorsement, is that it is thin enough to easily cut with a knife. And since the commissioner wanted a cut paper commission, now usually when I'm doing characters that wear clothing, that means I cut out the clothing and utilize the cut paper as the clothing. But for this, I'm going to use it to do a cute background. It's one of the reasons why you guys aren't seeing me do anything with the background right now. Also just doesn't layer the way thicker cardstocks will layer. You can get a lot of layers out of one color. It's a bit of a dry time. Okay, so I have to be careful with this. Guess not. I thought it was a darker color than it actually is. And I'm going to blend this color out in a minute with the prior color. So color seems to be a lot darker than it dries on this paper. So it goes down initially very dark and then dries much lighter, throwing me off a little bit. He's got a bit of a, or they've got a bit of a 1,000-mile stare going on. Hopefully we can remedy that. Oh, and I've got a blue violet for some of this shading, and that's going to help too, because right now everything is kind of the same color. Okay, I want something a little bit darker. Let's try W5. It might be too dark, but find out. No, I think that'll work. Just to better delineate those cute chubby cheeks. And I really want to indicate light and fluffy feathers, light and fluffy fur. Okay, let's go ahead and get cracking on those axolotl gills. And some of these fluorescents, I'm sure my camera is, not quite capturing it. Some of these fluorescents blend out weird. So you gotta be kind of careful with layering and blending them. Oh yeah, that's gonna be weird. Watch, it's gonna get really fluorescent in a second. Carefully work our way in there. They dry darker. These colors do, at least. Just so you guys can see how much of that ends up on the other side of the paper. And while that's going on, I'm gonna go ahead and do the beak and the eyes. Oh yeah, I also want to get in there and do that little bit of pink around those nose tufts. Cute baby. All right. I'm actually going to leave the area which would be black. I'm just going to leave that white for now. I am so excited because this is my last full commission for the year. I have another type of commission to do, and then I'm done for the year. It's taken me so long, and I felt so much guilt working on those little gill feathers. Now I'm gonna have to be really careful to delineate those so they don't get lost. Yeah, I'm gonna have to let that dry and like go in with a red or something much darker, because without line art they're getting kind of lost. It's okay. I think they were basically red in the original, the like feathery bits of the gills, not the entirety of the gills. I can always also go over it with like a colored pencil. I've done a few commissions for this person, and I always love the character designs they come up with. Let's see if I can find... See, I have red that's very, yes, very pink. Yeah, there we go. That's going to be better. Then I can go in with like white out or a white color pencil and add in some highlights and delineations. Alright, coming along. Next, I'm going to do the wings. So I'm doing long stroke motions, and this is kind of my base layer, but I still want to enforce. Okay, so the tail's gonna come out behind this. And then I'm gonna go in with blue violet and knock a lot of this visually back. Then I'm going to blend some of that out. Okay, now, so in the reference, the Gryphon has, it looks like their wings are folded. I want to see if I can find that same type of wing pattern, except open. So let me see what I can find on the old Googles. because I'm not sure how much of that banding we get on the inside. And it looks like we actually get very little. So I want to start with, am I using warm grays? No, I'm using neutral grays. Do I have anything kind of appropriate? Not really. That's annoying. Let's try starting with W6 then. And it's going to be on the bottom inside of the feathers. So, using a very light, sketchy stroke. Sketching that in, and I want it on the tops of the wings too. See, commissions are always interesting because you're always learning something new. Today I'm learning stuff about pigeon wings, which is cool. It's like you're getting paid to learn. And then I need a black, and I want the lighter of the two blacks, so I'm going to use Blick's Warm Black. Probably could have gone straight in with Warm Black. Then we're going to go in with the custom Adirondack Pitch Black. So this is a custom marker. I used Ranger Adirondack to fill an empty Copic sketch because I really like the color, and it's a color I can't really find elsewhere. It's a very dark brown sort of black. Yes. Happy with this. Okay, so next up, we're going to do the tail and the side patches. And the side patches are bright red, so I'm going to go ahead and get those. Little buddy is turning out really, really cute. The wings actually look like wings. In fact, could go in just a scooch. Delineate some of those feathers a little better. I kind of want to hit them with white to do like the backbone, for lack of me knowing vocabulary, of the wing. Okay, so second stripe is light, first stripe is dark. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna have to tighten that up. Then moving on to our next darker orange, which is R08, so it's actually a red. And I don't want to blend these because I want it to have kind of the, well, I definitely want it to have, not kind of, definitely want it to give the impression of fur. And to do that, you do need some brush strokes. Something else that's really neat about commissions is that I learned something new. I think that's a good amount of contrast between the two. They look like they belong together, but not too much of the same color. So that's good. I want to make sure I go in on the gills. I'm going to go back into the lighter red. And zoom out so you guys can better see what we've got. A few just little flicks of dark brown. And I make even so I want, I may not have it, I may have to settle for cashew. And then too dark. I do want a darker brown to go to. So now we mainly have the main body. And we started with one black. Y'all can see that warm black is really more of a dark brown than a black. It's a very dark brown though. I'm using really light fur-like strokes and feathering them into the other patches of fur. I'll go ahead while I can see it and darken up the layer under the paw. Bring some blender in here. Start a highlight. I'm already going to start leaving some areas less rendered on this pass, and that way we can kind of give some depth to the fur. Turn that around because I can get a better angle on my brush strokes if I feather them into the white. Go in with the blender here too, and really all I'm trying to do is create some depth. I'm enjoying doing this fur. I'm actually really enjoying doing this commission. This is a really fun commission. And I enjoy most of them, not all my commissions. But this one is really fun because I get to do a lot of just nice, relaxing brushwork. Then I'm going to go in with that darker brown. Oh, that's actually decent. And I actually really like doing anthro commissions, especially when the characters are as cute as this one. I really love cute anthro art, period. Full stop. Now let's get that first layer on the eyes. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a cute baby. And then I want to, is this dark enough? Am I getting enough contrast? May have to grab a different yellow ochre kind of color. What do they call it? Mustard. So very light yellow. We're just going to, and hopefully this will work, do some highlights where that'll hopefully push the color back just a smidge. I'm gonna grab pitch black. Just trying to enforce some of that shadow there and there as well. I'm still gonna have to cut this out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out some papers that will match this really cute piece. Get some of this cleaned up, but I am going to reserve some of the darker colors because I'm going to end up pulling some of these details a little tighter after I add the cut paper once I take a look at what I've got. So I'll go ahead and start pulling out some of those colors I want to do a little darker. And I'm gonna go select some papers. Sorry, got lost in my train of thought. So the problem with Shiogami paper is that although it is beautiful, it is not particularly stiff. So I'm gonna have to mount this on cardstock when I'm finished anyway. So what I'm gonna do, I think, is I'm gonna cut our little Gryphon out and then glue them to whatever paper we choose. And I've got some really neat papers here. So it's really, do we want to do a textured look, or do we want to do like ginkgo leaves in the background? And then I have some more kind of what we think of when we think of Chiogami paper. I think he'll blend in too much with that. Now, the character's name is Peaches, which kind of leads me to want to go for one of these really bright, sweet colored with lots of gold images. Actually, maybe with the red flowers would look the best. I think so. Okay, so put these away, and I really have an impressive hoard of Chiogami paper. That's not even the beginning of it. And I'm gonna want to use a knife, but I'm also gonna want to use scissors, at least to get rid of the bulk. And of course, when I want a cutting pad, I never have a cutting pad. What we can use is chipboard, like the back of a pad of paper, really. And I'm gonna grab, I thought I had an X-Acto blade in here, but I guess I don't. Okay, so we have one X-Acto blade. And I'm just going to, as carefully as I can, I don't always have the best cutting skills, but as carefully as I can, I'm going to cut away all the white paper. I'm just going to try to be as delicate as I can, which is hard for me because I'm not delicate. Okay, so that only took 5 ever. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue this little Gryphon to the adorable paper. And I have here some mono liquid glue. We might regret this. Oh, that's interesting. This reminds me of this glue applicator my grandfather had that I thought was just the coolest thing in the entire world, and he would not let me play with his toys. And here I am with my own toys. Okay, then we've got, come on, oh, you twist, a pin tip. Wish I had my tweezers handy so I could pick this up, but I think this is gonna work fine. So what I'm gonna do, and I've got long claw-like nails. It's gonna be hard for me because I've already got the handshakes. I'm going to place this little Gryphon, and then I want to put something heavy on top, and I'm going to let it dry overnight. So I need to find that. All right, so Got some nice, big, heavy Art of Studio Ghibli books that will do a nice job keeping everything. Hopefully there was no glue seepage. I didn't check. No, I don't think there is any. Keeping everything nice and flat. So I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Okay, so this had a chance to dry overnight. Some interesting things happened. First of all, some of the reds, just the reds, not anything else, some of the reds transferred over to the back of my Art of Spirited Away book. I guess something about the water in the glue or one of the solvents in the glue reactivated some of the reds. It's not noticeable on the front of the piece or even really on the back of the piece. It's just an interesting thing to note. And it also dried kind of kipped, which that can be fixed, but I thought that was worth pointing out as well if you're following along. So hopefully we're gonna go ahead, get this cutie finished. So I've got a variety of darker colors and I'm just going to tighten up some of the details. I also grabbed a Sakura of America Pigma FB so I could tighten up some of the details that way. I mean, honestly, I could probably call it done at this point and it looks good and I'm pretty satisfied with it. And I think the customer is going to be happy, but I think I would enjoy tightening it up just a little bit. You know, you can always make things a little bit cuter. And I'm gonna use Pigma FB here in the black, and that way I can get some line, some depth of color in there. And the paper kipping up makes it a little harder. So I'm going to use 2 fingers, hold that down. I am going to glue this. I already picked out my cardstock. I'm going to glue this to a piece of yellow cardstock that'll match the axolotl griffin's eyes, I think. They're doing some very delicate line work in the feathers, and then I think I'm going to try to do brown above the eyes. And this griffin is definitely turning out to be really cute. I'm already very pleased with it, but I'm going to be really pleased with this, I think. Blending out that brown just a little bit. It's a little harsh. And then going to push that back as well. And let's see. So I kind of want the ear things to be a little pinker than they are. So I've got our 20. Go over that. I'm really just kind of nitpicking at this point because, like I said, it's already very cute. You know, the nice thing about coming into something with fresh eyes is you suddenly see all the ways you could improve it. Even if those improvements are just tightening up certain colors or increasing contrast in certain areas. Yeah, I think adding the red there is a good idea. This would actually make a pretty cute badge, although it's not as cartoony as a lot of badges I've seen. Doing a big dot of colorless blender. I'm hoping that will push the color back as it dries and I can get a nice sort of subdued version of that color, but I may have to push the color back manually. See, it did it in one eye. Let me zoom so you guys can see. It did it in one eye and then not in the other. So I'll try to get that a little bit better. And then that tail got messed up a little bit. So I'm just going to go over it again. All right, so I need to grab a cup of water and a brush so I can do my white highlights. All right, looking really good. I'm really happy with this one. So I'm gonna go grab that cup of clean water and I'll be right back. All right, so I went ahead and I grabbed a cup of clean water and also a very fine synthetic brush. And I like how, as I tell you guys that, I get right back to doing the black ink work, but I think that is important. And I was hoping I had a white color pencil handy and I don't. Okay, so got some P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White, which is also excellent. I usually use Copic Opaque White, but Bleed Proof White is also a very good choice. Oh yes, he is a happy bird. Those highlights really help take him from like dazed and confused bird to happy bird. And then a little bit in the tail floofs. And then I also want to do, and I probably should have grabbed an even finer point. This Cotman, what is this? This Cotman 3. It doesn't pull a very fine point. Now, often I would use, especially on a paper with a little more texture than this one, I would use color pencils to help with some of these. Sort of the backbone of the feather. Okay. All right. I think I'm gonna let that dry, maybe do a little bit more ink detail, and then we're gonna go ahead and glue this to our cardstock. Okay, so I'm gonna go back in, and since some of this white was a little bit out of control, or harder to control rather, I'm just going to tighten some of that up a little bit. And then we're gonna attach this to cardstock, since that Shiogami paper isn't particularly, I mean, it's fine at this size, but I really do want something a little thicker, just to sort of help protect. Seriously, pick at this forever. All right, let's call it done. So I've got some beautiful dandelion colored paper, and I've got my Tombow. Oh, that's removable. I kind of want, if I'm going to do that, I want to use permanent. And I don't really want to use glue because it caused all this warping. All right, this will work. Is not just a glue runner, but permanent double-sided tape. I need to trim that. All right, so I did it on all 4 sides and in a crisscross pattern across the middle. We're gonna eyeball it so that it's about 1/4 inch on all sides. And I want to use something to roll it flat that won't really impart hand grease. Let's hope this works. Basically, I want to kind of burnish it down, at least as much as I can, considering how wrinkled it is. Now, I'm going to use a paper cutter to trim it, and now that I got it all burnished, I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, it's slightly off from what I thought. Oh well. I'm going to use a paper cutter to trim it, and I'll check in with you guys and say goodbye. All right, so this commission is finished. It was, if you guys could not wait. Now I see something else. I'm gonna try that technique too on a human piece, and because I think it's gonna look, you can't tell because the brown is so brown, and there's not much of a reaction, but I think it's a really cute technique that I'm gonna use in other things. But if you guys couldn't tell, I had a blast working on this commission. I enjoyed it thoroughly from start to finish. The character is absolutely adorable. I got to draw a cute burb. I get to draw burbs sometimes, but not as often as I apparently should. I got to practice drawing fur. I got to practice drawing feathers and wings and beaks. It was a blast. I got to play with alcohol markers and cut paper. I think it turned out beautifully, and I hope the commissioner is as pleased with it as I am. And I am so grateful that they were as patient with me as they were. That's part of the reason why I tried really hard to make this a really cute piece, and I really tried to put so much into it. I hope they're as pleased with it as I am. I thank them for their patience, and I thank them for giving me the opportunity to draw such a cute character. Their art is adorable, and I look forward to seeing them grow over the years. So thank you so much, and thank you guys for joining me. I hope you had a good time too, and I hope to see you guys again with more marker videos. Bye guys!